Seriously, this Gazelle shakes you around quite mercilessly. Because it is the cargo passenger version, and every single bump hits you right in the heart. And after all, a Gazelle, especially an empty one, isn't supposed to be soft. That's not what it was made for. Motherland built it to carry consumer goods, not the people consuming them. And it's even worse in the cargo area, but there was nothing else to do. There weren't enough comfortable buses for everyone, especially in remote villages. But the driver was comfortable, especially compared to the Zakars and the 51. The visibility was amazing. The heater works so well you almost want to take off your sheepskin coat. Too bad I don't have one, just like I don't have power steering, but that's okay. You get used to it, proletarian style. I'd even say, why would you need power steering? On straight Russian country roads, there aren't many turns anyway. You just roll into the distance. Maybe your home is out there, or maybe it isn't. It depends on your luck. I thought I would never ever see the car from my childhood. Some might say, yeah, they all look the same. Yes, but no. Yes, the 52nd Gazonchik. Yes, its appearance is familiar to everyone born back then, and even today that distinctive little face brings a smile. How many of them were produced? Over the many years, from 1963 to 1993, more than 1 million vehicles were made. And since they also look like their older brother, the 53rd, so in general. The main question is, what is the difference between the 53 and the 52 if they all look the same? Without going into details. Essentially, they only have the same cabs, because the GAZ-52 is basically a GAZ-51A. That's right, to replace the GAZ-51, which was discontinued on April 2nd, 1975, a truck with the same dimensions and payload capacity was already put on the assembly line in January of that same year. The GAZ-52-04 truck with a wheelbase of 3,300 millimeters. An inquisitive viewer might ask, why produce two trucks that look exactly the same? But there's a nuance here. The 52 has a 2.5-ton payload, while the 53 carries 4. They even planned a 1.5-ton truck then, but it didn't work. But with the 52, things worked out quite well. So what did it inherit from the 51? It's a classic for all trucks, back then and even today. Nothing more reliable has been invented yet. Of course, I'm talking about the frame. It consisted of cold-stamped side members riveted together and with 5 cross members for strength. Do you see the narrow radiator? Who would actually see it? What about a wide one? What does it look like? I just wanted to sound smart. But now, here's a real chance to show off some knowledge. Do you see the engine? It's from the GAZ-51. They started developing it even before the Great Patriotic War began. Remember that one? It's a 6-cylinder, side valve, and outdated. GAZ-11. With a displacement of 3,485 cubic centimeters, maximum power is 75 horsepower at 2,600 revolutions per minute. Maximum torque is 206 Newton meters at 1,400 to 1,600 revolutions per minute. But this one isn't exactly from the 51. A lot has been improved here. For example, instead of Babbitt steel bearings, they started using more durable aluminum ones. They installed a different carburetor, an oil pump, and all this increased the engine's lifespan from 80 to 120,000 kilometers. So then you might wonder, why did I once again decide to tell you about the 52nd? This is not just a truck, it's the cargo passenger version 5205, and its uniqueness lies in the body and the fact that it has survived. The 05 is built on a shortened GAZ-52-04, so its axles are also different. For example, the rear one, it's already from the 53rd. That's what it says in the Smart Book, and I won't argue with that. Leaf springs are the old ones with shackles from the 51st, like on the short version. There are also additional springs under the spring hanger. so that honest folks don't fall out while driving. The sides don't open at all, you see? And they're also twice as high. So how do you get up to the penthouse? That's right, by the little ladder. Please note, here the door opens like a barn door. The owner of this vehicle, Evgeny, found a photo where the rear side opens in 3 parts. Well, I don't know. The platform's dimensions with the tarp removed are 2,930 by 2,000 by 890 millimeters. Naturally, the floor and walls are finished with noble types of wood. At the passenger's disposal are 2 comfortable wooden folding benches. They're orthopedic. With heavy jolting, they funnel your spine into one spot. There's also a homemade storage chest. Notice, the ceiling and the upper part of the walls are finished with high-quality fabric, commonly known as tarpaulin. The fact that it's high quality is proven by the fact that it hasn't rotted over the years. The presence of a signal button shows that this is a feng shui cattle truck. You press it here and a bell rings for the driver, letting them know you need to stop. There's also a viewing window. Actually, I think the tarp is a later upgrade, since in the original version there are 10 windows. 2 at the front and back and 3 on each side. And there's also a ventilation valve. Correct me if I'm wrong. An interesting feature of the vehicle. 2 tanks, one standard, the other mounted externally. Both hold 90 liters. But this one is unusual. It's from an early GAZ-63 and has a different shape. Well, now it's time to start it up. This is how Soviet drivers used to keep small car keys behind their cheeks so they wouldn't lose them. Just kidding. It's a stripped-down 53, but it's cozy in here. Some interesting features. An early steering wheel. See, the spokes are bent. You see these more often on APCs than on GAZ trucks. It starts up with a foot pedal, much like its earlier predecessor, the GAZ-51, only the GAZ-53 model actually features an electric starter, point. All the best features go to the older brother. You really had to get stuck like a rookie on a flat road. That's some talent. It's a real pleasure. Wouldn't want to land on a curve. And that's all because the rear is unloaded, light, and there's plenty of power, so it's easy to get it stuck on something slippery. But even so, comrades, what a pleasure it is to drive these 50 series GAZ trucks. The 53 is definitely more fun, but this one feels more soulful, you know? I don't know, I like the 52 more than the 53. Even though you'd think they're the same, just from a different angle. The car shakes as it moves as expected, but it's smoother than the 51. This is partly due to the shock absorbers. In the front, Of course, you get tossed from side to side, but there's no time to get distracted. This one has a 4-speed gearbox. It's basically from the 51, and in fact, it's also from the Polutorka. Synchronization is for girls, double clutching. There you go. And of course, there is that ever-present whine. You pull up the hill in 3rd gear and the gearbox is crying, and so are you, and the speedometer shows 40, 40, 35, 35. And you think it's any different on the road? It howls the same and even more above 75 kilometers per hour. It doesn't want to go. Yeah, and it doesn't need to, because back there in the penthouse, 10 people are sprawled out. And they remember you with words of gratitude. And the gas station attendants remember you too. With calm driving, it's 20 to 30 liters of A66 gasoline per 100 kilometers. But at least the Gazon brakes pretty well. It squeezes the people in the back a bit, but it's quite reasonable. The braking system is dual circuit and features a hydro vacuum booster. You can't really call it maneuverable. The turning radius is just under 10 meters. The GAZ isn't a city dweller. These trucks roam the local districts. For its size, this truck's off-road performance is phenomenal. Weighing under 6 tons, the ground clearance at the rear axle is 245 millimeters. I tried to learn to drive on one of these shorties at UPK-2 in Moscow, and on my very first try, I scraped along Bochina's concrete fence. My instructor got out and said, "Here are the keys, fix it yourself, this is your curse for life. Mein Dun the Deep Schuster." The 52nd and 53rd, twins of the national economy, an inseparable part of our past, kicking up dust by the millions of tires across the land. The locally produced Gorky rear view mirrors, fully adjustable ones. We've successfully turned yet another significant page of history, and with our heads held high, we rush toward a bright future, comrades, always continuing our great hunt. And right away, a joke from the Soviet past comes to mind. The Georgian hitching a ride sees a truck stop. "Brother, take me to Tbilisi." "Listen, I can't. I have fiberglass in the back." "Hey, it's fine. We'll sit on the cotton, put the glass on our knees, and fly with the wind." Well, about 15 minutes later, he knocks on the roof. "Hey, stop! I'm itching all over." "What glass? What cotton? There are only lice running around here."